In every great story, the villain isn't just an obstacle. They're the tension, the weight, the force that makes the hero journey matter. A well-built villain can elevate a narrative, sharpen its themes, and leave an impact that lasts long after the final chapter. Whether they're slowly rising in the shadows, hiding in plain sight, or crashing into the story, the how and the why of their introduction is everything. In this video, we'll be breaking down the importance of a villain build-up and how the best antagonists are shaped by the world around them, why their presence hits so hard, and what happens when the villain truly lives in the story's bones. If you're new here, my name is Yuno, and now you know. If you enjoyed this video at any point, leaving a like would be appreciated. And if you want to see more anime deep dives, check out the channel and hit the subscribe button. Now, let's get to the video. A great villain isn't some final boss waiting at the end of the story. The best ones act as a mirror to the hero. They reflect the central themes, challenge the protagonist's beliefs, and bring out the best or the worst in them. Sure, power is part of the package, but that's not what makes a villain memorable. What truly defines a great villain is the why behind their actions, a distinctive personality, a believable motive, and the way their presence fit in the story's world. These are the real keys. Whether their build-up is slow and steady or fast and chaotic, it has to feel right for the tone and the pace of the story. There's something incredibly satisfying about watching a villain earn its place as the ultimate threat. When we see an antagonist start from the bottom, maybe as a lackey or a minor nuisance, or someone underestimated by everyone, and slowly rise through the ranks, it creates such a sense of momentum and dread. We witness their growth, their failures, their ambition, and eventually their transformation into the final boss. It's not just their power increasing, it's about watching them evolve into something truly terrifying. And when done right, that kind of journey can be just as compelling as the heroes. One of my favorite standout examples of a villain build-up done right is Tomura Shigaraki from My Hero Academia. When we first meet Shigaraki, he's far from intimidating. He's erratic, immature, and honestly comes off more as a moody child than a credible threat. He hides behind Kurogiri, gets clowned by heroes, and feels like someone else's pawn rather than the mastermind. But that's what makes his growth so effective. As the story progresses, we watch Shigaraki evolve. His ideology sharpens, his hatred becomes more personal, and once All For One begins molding him into the successor, the tone shifts. He's no longer just another villain, he's being shaped into the endgame. By the time we get to the Meta Liberation War, he's undergo a terrifying transformation. Literally, his body is enhanced, his decay quirk evolves, and he becomes a walking apocalypse. Cities crumble around him, heroes fall left and right, and suddenly, this whiny kid we once dismissed is now the most dangerous man alive. But what makes this hit harder is the emotional layer. Shigaraki's origin is tragic. His trauma, abandonment, and slow descent into madness makes him not just powerful, but human. He's the ultimate product of a broken world, and that makes him a dark reflection of Deku. Shigaraki becomes a symbol of what Deku could have been if he was left to rot in his pain. His journey from lackey to nightmare is a masterclass in long-term villain writing, showing us that sometimes a villain doesn't need to start strong, they just need the right story to become strong. Now let's talk about one of the most terrifying and constantly evolving villains in modern anime, Ryomen Sukuna, the King of Curses. From the moment Jujutsu Kaisen begins, Sukuna isn't just introduced, he is unleashed. In the very first episode, we learn his power is so immense in life that even after death, his 20 fingers preserved like curse artifacts are enough to destabilize the world. That alone sets the tone. Sukuna isn't just a big bad that appears later, he's a constant presence, a ticking bomb inside the body of the protagonist, and that setup is genius. Every fight, every mission, every desperate move Yuji makes is shadowed by the knowledge that Sukuna can come out, and when he does, people die. Not just enemies, but innocents, allies, anyone unlucky to be in his path. But Sukuna isn't just a chaotic monster, he's cruelly intelligent. He doesn't lash out without reason, he's calculated, waits, and manipulates. He mocks, taunts, and plays the long game. His sadistic nature and towering arrogance makes him feel like a god among mortals. Someone who doesn't just fight, he plays with his food. That superiority complex oozes from him in every sense. Sukuna constantly adapts. As the series progresses, we see the gears turning. He starts laying the groundwork for something bigger. He makes pacts, chooses when to interfere, and little by little reclaims more control. His presence is terrifying because when he finally acts, he breaks the story. And he's only getting scarier. What makes his build-up so brilliant is how it never stops. Even when he's not physically in the scene, his presence is felt. His influence hangs over Yuji's every move, and his eventual rise feels both inevitable and horrifying. It's not the matter of if Sukuna will take over, it's when and how devastating the fallout will be. What's truly great about Sukuna is that he isn't driven by ideology. There's no twisted dream or piece of a grand philosophy. What drives him is simple: power, pleasure, domination. It makes him even scarier because you can't reason with Sukuna. You can't outsmart him with his ideals or appeal to his humanity. He doesn't want to be understood, he just wants to win. Period. Now let's shift gears and talk about one of the most unsettling new gen villains in manga, Zodil from Gachiakata. Unlike villains who manipulate from the shadows or explode into the scene with a spectacle, Zodil oozes into the story like a sickness. His very presence feels wrong. From the moment he appears, everything gets heavier, the tension, the color of the manga gets darker, and his speech bubbles are all black. That's exactly what makes him so effective. Gachiakata is a story about trash, about what society throws away, both literally and metaphorically. It's about people discarded by the system, finding purpose in a world that wants them forgotten. So when Zodil enters the picture, he's not just a villain, he's a manifestation of the rot that infects this world. He's sadistic, but not in an over-the-top way. His cruelty feels real, personal. He's not trying to conquer the world or chase after power for power's sake. He enjoys watching things break. System, people, hope. It's just all junk to him. What really sets Zodil apart is how personal his villainy feels. When he clashes with Rudo and the Givers, it's not just a battle of strength, it's a battle of ideals. Rudo believes in finding worth in what's discarded. Zodil believes in crushing it beneath his heels. It's not good versus evil, it's hope versus nihilism. And that clash feels so raw because of how grounded and dirty this world feels. Design-wise, Zodil looks like a nightmare made of scraps. His appearance matches the vibe of Gachiakata perfectly. Everything about him screams contamination. He's not a disruption, he's a reflection of everything wrong with the world. He feels like the natural consequence of society built on throwing people away. When it comes to long-term villain buildup, there's a gold standard of matching the hype that's been built up for them. Madara's name is whispered throughout Naruto long before he ever appeared on screen. He's a myth, a ghost, a legend so powerful that just the idea of him instills fear. We heard about his historic battle with Hashirama, the way he shaped the Uchiha clan, and how his ideals caused a ripple effect that still influences the story decades later. Every mention of him builds an aura of invincibility. He's not just some strong ninja from the past, he's the strong ninja from the past. And then, he shows up. And somehow, against all odds, he lives up to all of the hype. In fact, he exceeds it. The moment Madara touches down in the 4th Great Ninja War, everything changes. He wipes out an entire platoon of elite shinobi by himself. He flexes so hard that even the Kage look like side characters to him. And he's not just strong, he's completely surgical, calculated. He fights like someone who's already won because in his mind, he already has. But what makes Madara special isn't the destruction he causes, it's the reason behind it. He's not evil for the sake of being evil, he has a dream. Twisted one, sure, but it's a dream rooted in pain. His desire to cast the world in an eternal illusion is his way of ending the suffering. To him, peace isn't something people can achieve on their own. Free will leads to conflict, to hatred, to war. So his solution? Take away free will. Let everyone live in a dream where nothing hurts. In a messed up way, it also makes sense after what he's been through. And that's what makes Madara a perfect foil to Naruto. Naruto believes in growth through pain. He believes in understanding, forgiveness, and the power of bonds. Madara believes that those things are fantasies, and the only way to stop the cycle of hatred is to eliminate the conflict entirely. Their ideologies clash in a way that feels inevitable, like this battle was always fated to happen. Madara isn't just Naruto's strongest enemy, he's the final exam for everything Naruto believes in. His reveal didn't come out of nowhere, it was earned. And because of that, his presence hit like a sledgehammer. You feel the weight of his arrival because the story spent years preparing you for it. Even when you strip away the lore, the philosophy, Madara is just cool. His calm demeanor, his god tier power, and the ruthless efficiency makes every scene with him magnetic. He's the kind of villain that redefines the power scale the moment he arrives, and then keeps pushing it further. Now, not every villain gets a build-up they deserve, and sometimes their arrival can actually damage the story. Whether it's due to poor timing, lack of foreshadowing, or simply being introduced too late into the story. Some antagonists miss the mark entirely. Their power might be undeniable, but without the proper setup, their arrival feels hollow. One of the most infamous examples is Kayuga from Naruto. On paper, Kayuga should be an unforgettable final boss. She's a godlike being, the origin of chakra itself, and arguably the most powerful character in the series. Her lore runs deep, her abilities are broken, and she ties directly into the roots of the shinobi world. but in execution, her introduction is one of the most jarring shifts in the entire story. Let's put it in perspective. Naruto builds toward a climatic showdown between Naruto and Sasuke, or Naruto and Madara. Madara's ideology and his connection with the cycle of hatred and his rivalry with Hashirama are all intricately woven into the fabrics of the narrative. He's the culmination of the Uchiha conflict, the ultimate challenge to Naruto's beliefs, and a personification of the series' biggest themes: war, peace, legacy, and pain. Then Kayuga just drops in. No emotional connection to the main cast, no major foreshadowing beyond some vague mentions of the Sage of Six Paths mother. She literally erupts from the plot thanks to Black Zetsu hijacking Madara's body and turning him into a vessel. And in that one move, everything in the story built up around Madara is brushed to the side. It doesn't feel like a twist, it feels like a reset button, a disruption. Kayuga's presence undercuts the very themes Naruto has been exploring. She doesn't represent the cycle of hatred, or the human cause of conflict. She's not a reflection of Naruto or Sasuke. She's a cosmic level threat with no real ideology stake in the fight. And because of that, she feels detached, more like a plot device character, a final obstacle to overcome, but not a meaningful one. I'm not saying that Kayuga couldn't be a great villain. A god like being driven by power could have been fascinating if it had time to develop. And I understand the anime had filler of her, but that wasn't enough. Her sudden introduction near the end of the series gave her no room to breathe. We don't get to understand her, we're just told she's the ultimate threat and expect to care. Kayuga is an example of how a poor buildup can kill a villain's potential. In the end, Kayuga was just a god, but never really a character. But here's the twist. Not every villain needs a slow, methodical build-up to be effective. In some stories, a sudden appearance of a terrifying antagonist can actually enhance the narrative. It all comes down to context and execution. If the villain feels genuinely threatened, and if their presence is tied to the core themes of chaos of the world, the lack of buildup can be a strength, not a weakness. Let's talk about one villain that doesn't get years of foreshadowing. One that doesn't have deep ideology or a tragic backstory. Well, at least not one that I know of. Let's talk about Ruin from Undead Unluck. Ruin is a perfect example of how no buildup can still work if the story earns it. Unlike Madara's looming legend or Sukuna's ever-present dread, Ruin doesn't creep in slowly. He crashes into the story like a glitch in the Matrix. No warning, no lore dump, no whispered legend passed down through generation. Just boom, chaos, violence, death. His arrival is so sudden and so explosive that it shocks both the characters and the readers. And that's the point. Undead Unluck is not a conventional series. Its world is very unpredictable and its tone is chaotic at times. And its pacing is fast and relentless. One minute you're laughing at absurd comedy and the next you're holding your breath during the tragic backstory. And then bam, you're watching a god tier threat casually rip through the cast. Ruin fits the tone perfectly. His lack of buildup isn't a flaw, it's a feature that enhances the madness of the world he's introduced into. From the moment Ruin appears, he establishes himself as different. He's not there for a monologue. He's not there to be understood. He's here to break things. And he's good at it. His design is unnerving, his power is devastating, and his presence is deeply unsettling. He doesn't feel like a man. Again, he feels like a glitch in the Matrix. Like something that shouldn't be here, and that makes him terrifying. What's wild is that despite his limited screen time and lack of exposition, Ruin makes such an impact. He leaves a crater, both literally and narratively. Characters are scarred by his arrival, the tone completely shifts in the manga, stakes rise like crazy, and suddenly you realize this isn't just a wacky fun superpower battle series. There are real consequences here, real threats, and what makes Ruin even more interesting is how he contrasts with the traditional villains. Ruin is raw chaos. He's a storm with no center. You can't reason with people like him. You can't even predict them. All you can do is hope you survive him. That's the beauty of a villain like Ruin. He doesn't need a detailed arc or emotional motives to be memorable. He just needs the right timing, the right tone, and the right amount of shock value. Sometimes, that's all it takes. At the end of the day, a great villain is more than just a powerful enemy. They're a reflection of the story itself. Whether they're built up over 100 chapters, explode into the scene with no warning, or rise from the shadows to claim the spotlight, the best villains leave a mark because they matter to the narrative. Their presence challenges the hero, elevates the stake, and makes the world feel more alive. So whether it's Madara's legacy, Sukuna's lurking dread, or Zodil's chaotic presence, how a villain is introduced can define the emotional weight of the entire story. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification. If you liked the video, leaving a like will be appreciated. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, you know where to find you know.